Today you will need some worsted weight yarn. If you have it, and okay, a 5mm size H hook. If you have some stitch markers, but you really don't need those. Scissors and a tapestry or darning needle. So, and the pattern was posted in online and in the event. So I hope you all got that pattern, because I'm going strictly off just going down the pattern from line 1. So we are making the Karen beginner beanie, or Karan, however you pronounce it. And this is great because it goes from ages 2 to grown-ups. It's versatile. You can change it up. You can make it more girly, more manly. And this is actually the pattern I use for chemo caps, because it has no seams, it has no bulky ridges or anything. Very smooth. To start, you have your slip knot on your hook. Okay, we're gonna chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so you have chained 4. Then we're gonna go in this stitch right here, this very first one.
Hold your end and then.
So if you hold it like this, we're going right in this. Oh. Well, we're trying to go right in this stitch. So right there. Move this out of the way. So should look like something like this. Okay. Now I want you to take this bottom dangly and hold on to it. Hold on to it. We're going to yarn over and going to pull through both loops. And then you should have like a little tiny ugly ring, because where you see the hole right here, this is where we're going to crochet in. Undo it. Slip knot, chain 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, here's our chain. We're going to go in this one right by my left thumb, right there. This first one we made. Go right in. Okay, let me get this out of the way. All right, hold on to this little bundle here. If not, sometimes if you don't hold on to it, it gets too tight, and then it's going to be just trying to get a mess to get right in the middle. So hold on to it, yarn over, and no pressure, lightly pull through. You don't have to make this tight. This can be very loose because we can tighten this up at the very end. Okay, so you have this little opening and your circle. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Stop me if I'm going too fast, okay? Okay, first round, we're gonna chain 2. 1, 2. The chain 2 does not count as a stitch. We don't count it. It's just to get us up a row. Okay, now we are going to make 8 half double crochets right there in the little opening of our circle. Okay, half double crochet. I know all of you learned the single crochet last time. Half double crochet is exactly the same, except we're going to yarn over first. So we're going to yarn over. So let me make sure you can see this. Yarn over. Going to go right here in the middle. Yarn over. Pull up a loop. You should have 3 loops instead of 2. Yarn over and pull through all 3 loops. That's your half double crochet. So yarn over in the center, pull up, 3 loops, yarn over through. Again, yarn over in the center, pull up a loop, 3 loops, yarn over, pull through. So we're going to do this. So you have 8 half double crochets on here. So let me see. 1, 2, how many did I make? Was it 1, 2, 3? Okay. See, I have to do it like this. So I will meet you when we do our 8. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Don't worry, I'm going to do it again. Okay. You can always double check. You just count back. So 1, you can always count your chains in half. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The chain 2, we don't count. So let me go back. Unravel, frog it, rip it. Okay. This is after my chain 2. The yarn over in the middle, pull up a loop, 3 loops on the hook, yarn over, pull through, 1 half double crochet. 2, 3. So I'm going to show you something when you are a little bit more advanced. What you can do is when you reach your beginning yarn, you can lay your yarn along your little circle here and then crochet over it to hide that yarn. Kind of, you weave it in while you crochet, but you don't have to worry about that now. So later on. Okay. See. Okay, so we have chain 2 and then we'll make 8 double crochets. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, double check. 12, 6, 8. Sorry, I'm counting in German. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Okay, and then let me pull it open. Don't pull it open like I do. I'm just showing it to you. So this was our beginning right here. Remember we did the chain 2. So here's chain 1, 2. So actually going to slip stitch in this one right here because the chain 2 do not count. So count up 1, 2, 3, and then slip stitch in it. So we're going to go right in this, yarn over, and pull through. So now you can tighten the back a little bit, pull on that string a little bit gently to tighten that circle. We will tighten that at the end, so don't worry if it's too opens, but you should have something that looks like this. Okay. Should have something that looks like this. So we have our, and it's always good to double count your stitches. So 2, 4, 6, 8. Now we're gonna, round 2, we're going to increase. We are going to that, which means we're gonna make 2 stitches in 1 stitch. Okay, round 2 starts off with chain 2, which doesn't count for anything, just means we're going up the next round. So our next stitch, we're gonna put in 2 half double crochets. Okay, 1, 2. And we're gonna do this for every stitch in this round. If you want to, you can put a stitch marker right here where your last stitch is going to be. That is up to you, but since we have a chain 2, you can easily see where the round ends. But if you want to make sure, you can always put a stitch marker in that very last stitch so you know where the end of the round is. Okay, 2. So we're going to go around putting 2 double crochets in each stitch. So we're going to go around 2 double crochets in each stitch. Right. So at the end of the round, we should have 16 stitches. So yarn got stuck. All right, getting there. And you can always check yourself by counting if you're not sure where you are. So I'm going to stop here. Okay, so when you get to the end, your last stitch, see, the last stitch will always be right next to the, here's our chain 2. Your last stitch will always be right here. So this is still a stitch. So you have to still stitch in this one right there. Okay. Okay. So let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Because if you remember, here you can, let me open this. Don't do this, but we have our chain 2. So we have 1, 2, 3. These 2 don't count. So we're going to slip stitch right into that chain again. So 1, 2, slip stitch in this one. Slip stitch, put your hook through the stitch, grab your yarn and go right through. Now, if you count, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16 stitches. Okay, let me go back. And I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going back, but the first couple of rows are really the most important. So I'm going to just do them over a couple of times. Okay, so we were at the beginning here. We had our 2, 4, 6, 8 stitches. This was our chain 2, and then two half double crochets in each stitch. Ten, 11, 12. If my counting confuses you, let me know. I can count silently. And then remember, this is still a stitch. Right before our chain, we have to go in. So that one can be a little bit harder, but okay. And then joining again, our chain 2 doesn't count. So we're going to ignore 1, 2, and we're going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain. Go through, pull your yarn and right through. Okay. You made it through round 2. Yay. Let me see. Hold on. I need to pull up my pattern here. So you made it through round 2. You should have 16 stitches now on your hook. So 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Is everybody good? So you should have something that looks like this. Now we're heading to round 3. Okay, we start off chain 2, which we are not going to count. Now we are going to increase. Oh, sorry, ignore me. Chain 2. Now every round that we're increasing is going to start with 2 double crochets in your very first stitch right here. For the next, every increase round, you're gonna start off with chain two half double crochets. Okay, chain two half double crochets. 1 and 2. Okay, round 3. We are only, I know sometimes these patterns are hard to read. Repeat from this, la la la. Okay, it pretty much says we are going to alternate. We're gonna do 1 half double crochet and 2 in the next one. So it's 1, 2, 1, 2, alternating. 2. So 1 and 2. So you increase in every second stitch. 1, 2. Oh. And if you're ever not sure if you increased, just look back on your stitches. You can easily tell where it's just 1 stitch and where you have 2 stitches in. So 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 2, 2. One, 2. One. Okay, so your last increase should land you right here, not on the last stitch, because you're going to see, I'm going to show you, because you're going to see a pattern develop. So your last half double crochet should land you right here. 1, 2, because remember we started off with a increase right here with 2 double crochets, and we went 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, and this one will be our 2. So this is just 1 half double crochet, and then we're going to look back in our beginning chain we made. We're going to see 1, 2. That's with our chain 2, so we're not going to count this. 3, and then we're going to slip stitch in that 3rd chain right here. And you made round 3. You should have 24 stitches in your round now. If you're off by 1, don't worry too much right now. You don't always fix this. It's not really the end of the world. I had some, I was off and I just kept going. So you should have something like this now. There we go. Okay, we're going to go to round 4. Okay, always start our round with chain 2. 1, 2, and always start with 2 half double crochets in our first stitch. So 1, 2, scissors over here. Okay, now in round 4, we are going to increase on 3. I'm simplifying what they say in the pattern. So you will count then, you can just go ahead and go 1, 2, and then on 3, make your 2 half double crochets. 1, 2, 3, and at every 3rd stitch, make your increase. Just go. So 1, 2, and on 3, I'm going to make my 2 half double crochets right there. 1, 2, 3, increase. And then you can always go back. Oh, did I do it? 1, 2, 3. Yes. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay. Just keep increasing on 1, 2, on the third. Let me pull my yarn until you're back at the end. Okay, so did I just do it? Let me see. Sometimes when I talk, I lose count. 1, 2. Oh, see, I didn't increase on 3. Very excited. Okay. All right, 1, 2, 3. This is a good thing about this pattern. You can't get messed up too much. 1, 2, and 3. Increase on 3. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Increase on 3. 1, 2, 3. One, 2. Okay, so we back at the end. So now, if your pattern, if you did it correctly, your last half double crochet should land you here in this stitch, because just like before, we made the 2 double crochets right here increase. So then that would be 1, 2, 3. So this is where your increase should land. And then 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to have to make 2 half double crochets, and with 1 half double crochet in each of the last 2 stitches. Okay, go back, check your, see your chain, where your chain 2 was. So 1, 2 was our chain 2, doesn't count. 3 is where our actual row started, and that's where you want, and then we'll slip stitch right back into here. And now you should have a little round like this, and you should be at 32 stitches. So let me go to round 5. Okay, we'll do our chain 2. And then our first stitch right here, we're putting in an increase. So 2 half double crochet. Okay, that's how we start off our round. Now let's see, round 5, we are going to increase on 4. So we're going 1, 2, 3, increase on 4. So we're going to put 2 half double crochets in our number 4 stitch. 1, 2, sorry, 2, 3, and increase on 4. 2, 3, okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Increase on 4. And the more you do it, you will see that you're almost developing like little tiny mini corners where your increases are. So it's not going to be perfectly round. So as long as we're increasing, it's not going to be a perfect circle. You're going to see these little tiny corners right here where you're increasing. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Okay, and then your last increase should land here. And then you should have 3 left, because with our 2 double crochets here, we have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to put our last increase here. Okay. So we should have then 1, 2, 3 left. So that would be then with our pattern 1, 2, 3, 4. Just going to put half double crochet, 1 half double crochet in the remaining 3. And this should increase with every round. So next round, we should have 4 stitches left. Double crochet. Okay, I'm going to check my chain. I have 1, 2, chain 2 don't count. And then 3 will actually be was actually the first stitch of my round. So we'll just slip stitch in this one. So 1, 2, 3, and slip stitch into the 3rd. Right through. This should be your round 5. We only have 2 more increases to go. Yeah, almost there, almost there. Okay, let's see, round 6. Okay, as always, we're going to start off our round with our chain 2. And in our first stitch, we are going to put our 2 half double crochets. So 1, 2. Okay, that's done. Now in round 6, let me read. Round 6, 1, 2, 3. We're going to increase on 5. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, increase. So you're going to put your 2 half double crochets in 5, and your number 5 if you count your 5th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2 half double crochets. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoop, yarn stuck. 5. Increase. 1, 2, 3. Whoop. Make sure 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yep. You can see it here. See, it kind of gets this almost like a little corner while you're increasing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, almost there, halfway there. So here again, you can see these little tiny, almost corners. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You should end up right here. You should have 1, 2, 3, 4 stitches left, which with our pattern with this round would make then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 with our increase right here. So you should have 4 stitches left on here. And we're just going to put a 1 half double crochet in each of those remaining stitches. So 1, 2, 3, 3, 4. Okay. Go back to your chain and count 1, 2 was our chain 2. Those don't count. So 3 is where you slip stitch our actual first stitch of the round. Okay, slip stitch. Okay. Should be something like this now. You are almost there, almost there. We have only one more to go for the little size, for the little toddler size. Next round, chain 2. Oops, sorry. Chain 2. And then our first stitch right here, 2 half double crochets. Right there. Tell me what. Oh. And then now we increase on 5. Now we are going to increase on 6. So we're going to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So your increase will be on every 6th stitch. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then 6. You're going to make it increase your 2 half double crochets. Six. Ignore my splitty yarn. This is the lightest color I could find. It's not the best one I love. I don't love it as much. So you can see again, wherever you make the increase, you're going to have those little corners. And that's good. If you see that, you're doing it perfectly fine. Increase on 6. 1, 2 double crochets in here. And if we all counted correctly, then there should be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stitches left because we increased on 6. So that would make that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 with our first increase. So just putting those 1 half double crochet in each until you reach the end. And then go back to your chain, count up 3, 1, 2, 3 to your actual first stitch off the round and slip stitch. Now you'll see it'll start to kind of curl a little bit. So this is where you should be roughly after round 7. You should be about 56 half double crochets. And the pattern didn't mark it, which I wish they had, but you can mark it on your pattern. So this is actually where you stop increasing for size 2 to 4 years. So we're going to stop increasing now. If you look at the pattern, it tells you for size 6-8, it's 1 more round, and then women's is an extra one and men's is another extra one. So what I do when I do a pattern the very first time, I stop. So I'm at the kit, so I'm at size 2 to 4. I measure my diameter of my circle. And I have a little notebook and I just write down, okay, for size 2 to 4, I'm going to stop increasing when my circle is 5 inches. And that's great also if you will use a bigger hook, or if you use a thinner, finer yarn, then, you know, after 5 rounds, your hat might be only half the size. That's okay. So you would keep crocheting, increasing until you reach your 5 inches in diameter. So when I did this pattern the very first time, I stopped here, measured, then I went up to the size 6-8, measured, and I went to the women's and the men's, and I wrote it all down where my circle should be. Because now the fun starts. So you're done increasing. So you have done pretty much the hard part. This is it. Because after this now, we're just doing rows of half double crochet until you get the length you want. Okay, so this is the hat pretty much we're making. So I added just a pom-pom. And then let's see, will you focus? No, it's not going to focus. Okay. Yeah. Maybe a little bit. So these two in the bottom are the back loop ones. So you get just kind of this line on top. Mm-hmm. And then this one kind of get this like little chain on top of it, almost like a knitted chain look. This mm-hmm. I've done in the 3rd stitch, in the 3rd loop. So you could switch, you know, just to like a back loop, just to give a little bit of texture. Or you could always, you know, change colors. If you want to add it there. I didn't change colors yet. This is the ombre mandala and it did it itself. So I didn't do anything to it. It just added a stripe to it, which worked out great. But you could always, once you're done with the increase, you can switch colors every round if you wanted to do it a little bit more. Of course, it looks a little bit, you know, funkier, a little bit less boring when you use like a yarn that has a lot of colors. So
I have a question.
Yes.
When you say the 3rd loop,
yes.
What do you mean?
Okay. So let me, okay. How do I make myself big again? This Zoom does not want to play with me. Robin, how do I make myself big? Remove, switch to active speaker? No?
If everybody just goes up to the top left or top right corner.
Oh.
And if everybody clicks on speaker view, then you'll be big in everybody's space again.
Technology. Okay, so I don't know if this is going to work with this thing. I can take okay. If you look at your stitches, right? You look at them from the side and then you look at the top. So for back loop only, so usually we go in like this with our stitch right here. Usually you go, why do you not focus? So usually you would go in here for your stitch. For back loop, you would actually go just this loop back here. So this would be for the back loop. And then you get like a little edging, I call it. Now the 3rd loop, so you have your front view, your top, and then if you turn it over. Do you see this little loop right here? This is your third loop. So this is where you would go for that chain effect.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah, so let me do it again. So here's your front view. So we would insert our hook right here. Okay, move it up. If you look at from the top, for a back loop only stitch, you would go right in this loop right here. Okay, turn a little bit more. And then if you look at the back, right down here. So here's your back loop right here. And then you go underneath, go one more loop. This would be your third loop. So let me do a quick, let me show you the difference, how it looks really quick. So pretend my chain 2. So this is what we're going to do. From now on, you go into chain 2 and you are just going to half double crochet all the way around. No increases. So let me just do a couple half double crochets. Oop. Here I was going to go fast, and of course not. So let me go. Let me just do this round really quick, and then I can show you the difference in the stitches. But yes, so now you would just chain 2 from, and you just half double crochet, slip stitch at the end of your row. Okay, just go around, no more increasing. Don't have to count anymore. Just crochet for fun. I just did a round of just half double crochets. You are still going to end your round right here. Don't forget this last stitch right before your chain. And you're going to continue, just, go to your 1, 2, 3 to your beginning chain and still slip stitch in the third stitch. This is what you're going to do. And then until you reach, I think it was 6, let me see,
inches.
6 inches. So you're going to see your hat's going to start, of course, curling. And then once you reach 6 inches of height, then you're done. But let me go. Okay, so do my chain 2. Let me do one regular one. Okay, so if you want to do some variation stitch for your back loop only, you just do the same stitch, except you just go in your back loop on in right there in the back loop, right? So usually I would go in here, but I'm going in here where that back loop is. Oops. Right there. Do a couple of these stitches. And then you can see you start to have like a little edging line design. That's what that does. Now, if I go in my, let's see, third loop, way behind there. Okay. You are going to get something like this on top. Like a little chain. So here, let's see. There we go. There you can see it. So this would be the back loop only design. And this would be in your third chain right here. Now, if that is too much, don't worry about it. You would just keep going until your hat reaches your 6 inches. You can stop there and, slip stitch. Sometimes it makes it a little bit too loose for me. So let's pretend this is my last round. I have my 6 inches. I'm going to finish my hat. I finish with a couple of rounds of single crochet, and I don't chain anymore. So this is going to be the brim. You just do your single crochet around, and everybody remembers this, right? Just insert your hook, pull up a yarn, 2 loops, pull over through. So I do about 4 to 5 rounds of single crochet. Let me see, right, here's a hat I did. So, and you just it narrows the hat down a little bit, and it creates almost like a little band on the bottom. So it's a little bit tighter, has a nice little fit. So how many rows did I do? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then my last row, you don't have to do it. I do slip stitch just because I like the way it looks. But that's how I finish it off. So that is optional. I just think it gives it a little bit more hold on the hat. You can, there is options to add a ribbed brim, but it's a pain. If you like a ribbed look on the bottom, then start with the ribbing and work your hat up. You don't want to do a top down and add a ribbing, because I've tried it. It's such a pain. I'd rather do the ribbing first and then work my way up. Let's see, this one, I did all my half double crochets, and I only did 2 single crochet, and then I just did a slip stitch. So on this one, once you get a little bit more confident in your stitches, so this is kind of like a transition summer of like fall
that's so
version.
pretty.
So you just add like a little shell stitch to the bottom. Now this I've had, this is kind of my go-to chemo pattern hat for the summer. And I make it in a nice soft cotton or bamboo. There's another one I kind of finished off with the little shells. So yes, so this is then this was the lady size. That's a little bit bigger, and this one is kind of made it more for summer, but it's a slouchy. And a lot of the places I've sent chemo hats, they wanted them a little bit longer so it covers over the ears, so it wouldn't stop like a beanie, just kind of sometimes up really short. They wanted it just a little bit longer, and I just half double crocheted until I had a certain length. But yeah, so it's a great pattern if you want to just variety. You can make it just girly. This is the pattern I use for my husband's hat. So because if you have this just in a black and very simple stitching, it's can go anywhere for anyone. But that is the basic pattern. So it's like I said, it's my go-to pattern for many hats. It's for chemo hats, it's especially nice because you don't have an edging inside. There is no ribbing. There are not many seams to finish off. And like I said, it's very versatile. So do the pattern, do your circle increase for every age that is listed, measure it and write it down. And then you can use any yarn. You can get some really, because a lot of the chemo hat yarns will be a bamboo that's thinner. So you don't have to, just keep increasing like, oh, I lost count, how many rounds? No, oh, okay, I'm at 5 inches. That's why I need to stop. And then just keep going with your single rows. Just do it one time and then you're done. And then you can play around with your stitches.